What is the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? Have you ever looked at one of these animals and thought, okay, I have absolutely no idea which one that is? You are not alone. Most people cannot tell them apart. But here is what most people do not know. These two animals are not even that closely related. One of them is so ancient it watched the dinosaurs go extinct and barely changed a single thing about itself since then. One of them can swim in the ocean. The other would die if it tried. One of them is secretly less aggressive than its reputation. And if you actually wanted to own one, legally, the costs will genuinely shock you. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to tell them apart, which one is more dangerous, and why one of them is basically a living fossil that evolution gave up trying to improve. Let's go. Appearance. The one difference that settles it instantly. Let's start with the single fastest way to tell these animals apart, because once you know this, you will never mix them up again. Look at the snout. The alligator has a wide, rounded, U-shaped snout. It is broad and blunt at the tip, almost like a shovel. The crocodile has a long, narrow, V-shaped snout. It tapers to a point, like a triangle. That one shape difference tells you everything you need to know from a distance. U equals alligator. V equals crocodile. Done. But there is more. When an alligator closes its mouth, you cannot see its bottom teeth. The upper jaw is wider than the lower jaw, so the lower teeth disappear completely inside. When a crocodile closes its mouth, the fourth tooth on the lower jaw stays visible on the outside. That one tooth sticking out is one of the most reliable close-range identifiers in the animal kingdom. The alligator is typically darker. Adults are usually a dark gray or black color, with a smoother, more uniform appearance. The crocodile tends to be lighter, ranging from olive green to tan or gray-brown, with a rougher, more textured look to its scales. Both animals have what are called osteoderms, bony plates embedded in the skin along the back. In crocodiles, these are more pronounced and irregular. In alligators, they are smoother and more uniform. Who is bigger? The crocodile wins, and it is not particularly close. The American alligator, the most well-known species, typically reaches between 10 and 15 feet in length. Large males can push toward 1,000 pounds. That is a big animal by any measure. The saltwater crocodile is the largest reptile on Earth. Adults regularly reach 17 feet. Record specimens have been measured at over 20 feet and over 2,000 pounds. That is twice the weight of the largest alligator. To put that in perspective, a full-grown saltwater crocodile is roughly the size and weight of a small car. It is an animal that has essentially no natural predators as an adult. Nothing in its ecosystem hunts it. It is the apex of the apex. The Nile crocodile, found across sub-Saharan Africa, is the second largest and regularly reaches 16 feet and 1,650 pounds. These are the animals responsible for the most human fatalities of any reptile on Earth. Where do they live? This is where the difference becomes almost philosophical. Alligators are found in exactly two places on Earth: the southeastern United States, primarily Florida, Louisiana, and Georgia, and a small population in eastern China called the Chinese alligator, which is critically endangered with fewer than 100 individuals remaining in the wild. That is it. Two populations, two countries. One species is nearly gone. Crocodiles are everywhere. They are found across sub-Saharan Africa, South and Southeast Asia, Australia, Central America, and parts of the Caribbean. The saltwater crocodile in particular has an extraordinary range because it can tolerate salt water. It has been found swimming hundreds of miles out at sea. It colonized islands across the Pacific that no land-based reptile should be able to reach. The alligator, with its low salt tolerance, cannot do any of this. Put an alligator in the ocean and its kidneys will fail. The crocodile does not have that problem. The living fossil nobody talks about. Here is the fact that genuinely stops people. Crocodilians, the group that includes both alligators and crocodiles, first appeared approximately 95 million years ago. The dinosaurs went extinct around 66 million years ago. These animals were already old when that happened. They watched the meteor. They survived it. And in the roughly 66 million years since, they have changed almost nothing. The basic body plan, the jaw mechanics, the ambush strategy, the way they regulate temperature, all of it has remained essentially the same. Evolution kept trying to improve everything around them and kept deciding these animals were already solved. Scientists call this evolutionary stasis. It happens when an organism is so well adapted to its environment that random mutations providing improvements simply do not stick. The crocodilian design was so effective that natural selection had nothing to add. You are looking at an animal whose blueprint has not needed updating since before the Rocky Mountains fully existed. Personality and danger. If these two animals had reputations, the crocodiles would be earned and the alligators would be slightly exaggerated. The alligator is generally considered less aggressive toward humans than its reputation suggests. In Florida, where millions of alligators and millions of humans share the same space, fatal attacks are actually rare. Between 1948 and 2021, Florida recorded 26 fatal alligator attacks. That averages out to roughly one death every 3 years in a state with over 1.3 million alligators. Alligators are genuinely dangerous animals. They are not cuddly, but unprovoked fatal attacks on humans are uncommon. The crocodile is a different conversation entirely. The Nile crocodile alone is estimated to kill between 200 and 300 people per year, though some researchers believe the actual number is higher because many attacks occur in remote areas and go unrecorded. The saltwater crocodile is considered by many wildlife experts to be the most dangerous animal in Australia and one of the most dangerous in the world. It is a large, fast, territorial, and completely opportunistic predator that does not distinguish between a fish and a human standing at the water's edge. The key behavioral difference is how they respond to humans near their territory. Alligators will generally move away from humans unless they have been fed by humans, which is why feeding wild alligators in Florida is illegal. Crocodiles, particularly Nile and saltwater crocodiles, are significantly more likely to treat a human as prey. What would it actually cost to own one? Here is the chapter nobody else puts in this video, and the numbers are genuinely wild. In the United States, owning an alligator is legal in some states and completely illegal in others. Florida, which has more alligators than almost anywhere on Earth, actually prohibits private ownership without a special permit. Texas, Alabama, and a handful of other states allow it under certain conditions. Crocodiles face stricter regulations in most places because several species are listed under CITES, the international treaty controlling trade in endangered species. So, what does it actually cost? A baby alligator from a licensed breeder typically runs between $150 and $300. That sounds affordable until you see what comes next. The enclosure alone for an adult alligator will cost between $5,000 and $20,000 depending on size and materials. You need a secure, heated, humidity-controlled environment with a water feature large enough for the animal to fully submerge. An adult alligator needs a space measuring at least 10 by 20 feet of water, plus surrounding land area. Feeding costs run roughly $50 to $150 per month depending on the size of the animal. Adult alligators eat whole chickens, rabbits, and large fish. Veterinary care is where costs become unpredictable. Reptile vets with experience treating large crocodilians are rare. Emergency care can run into thousands of dollars. Some vets will not treat them at all. Then there is liability insurance. Any insurer willing to cover a property with a large crocodilian will charge significantly higher premiums. Some standard homeowner policies will void your coverage entirely the moment they find out you have one. Specialized exotic animal liability insurance can run $1,000 to $3,000 per year. Some states and counties also require annual exotic animal permits, which can run $200 to $500 per year, plus inspections. Total realistic first-year cost of owning an alligator legally and responsibly, somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000. And that is before anything goes wrong. Owning a crocodile is even more complex. Most crocodile species require federal permits in addition to state permits. The paperwork alone can take months, and the liability exposure of owning an animal that kills 200 people per year globally is, as you might imagine, not something most insurance companies are eager to cover. Let's put it all together. The alligator is darker, broader, more docile, found in exactly 2 countries, and lives only in fresh water. Its upper jaw hides its lower teeth when its mouth is closed. It is a powerful and ancient animal, but by crocodilian standards, almost approachable. The crocodile is larger, faster in the water, more aggressive, and spread across almost every warm continent on Earth. It can survive in saltwater. It is responsible for hundreds of human deaths per year. When its mouth closes, that 4th lower tooth still shows. It is an animal that evolution looked at 95 million years ago and decided needed no further work. Both of them are extraordinary. Both of them are older than almost everything alive today. Both of them are watching you from the waterline the same way they watched everything else for the last 95 million years. The difference between them is not just a matter of shape or size. It is the difference between an animal that coexists with its environment and an animal that dominates it. One is a neighbor you can learn to live with. The other is a reminder that some things were built to be at the top and have never been asked to move.